In my previous video, I covered Linux FX. This is a Linux distribution that looks like Windows 11, feels like Windows 11, but then on their website also promises that you'll be able to run Windows programs inside the operating system. I had several questions about this and expressed my concerns in the video. I also had concerns from viewers who had actually paid the $35 for the professional key and never received it. Well, Linux FX has reached out, sent me a message, or actually left a comment on the video, and that's what we're going to be going over today on Ebuzz Central. Today's video is brought to you by the Ebuzz Central store. If you haven't been over there yet, zip on over and check it out. We have a lot of Linux branded apparel. If you just go to t-shirts, we've got Arch, we've got Linux or Get Linux, which is based on Debian. We have the Ebuzz branded shirts and hoodies. We also have Linux just plain with the penguin logo. We got Kali inspired gear. We also have It's Okay If You Don't Like Linux, Not Everyone Has Good Taste. We have our Linux Mint section, Ubuntu, Arch, Manjaro, and we just added Fedora. Now, we don't just have these in t-shirts. If you go up here, we have them in hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, and long sleeve tees. We also have them in bucket hats, phone cases, stickers, and mugs, water bottles, and steel tumblers. So if you haven't had a chance to check out the Ebuzz Central store, zip on over and take a look at it. And if there's something that you want that's not on the store, please drop that in the comments below. So now over to Linux FX's comment. And if you take a look at their comment, I'm going to cover things on here one thing at a time so I can kind of make sure that I give a comprehensive answer to their comment. It says, "Greetings from Brazil. I know Linux users are not fans of Linux FX 11, Windows theme. We charge for the development of extra tools that come with the WX desktop. The first thing they list is Android support. Well, I want to go over and show you all something real quick. If you're familiar with emulators, we already have a way to run Android apps on Linux. Now, depending on your hardware and what you're trying to run, there are going to be different experiences for different users. But right now, we do have Anbox, which is Android in a box, and it provides a captive Android environment, and the version of Android is the latest version from Android open source project. You can install it from a snap, you can install it from terminal as well. I mean, we already have development that's bringing us the ability to run Android in Linux. So I understand that they say they want to charge for that because they're developing it, but I've looked at Anbox and they aren't the developers behind Anbox, so I kind of take what they said in their comment with a grain of salt when I look at that. So let's go back over to their comment. Then it says OneDrive. Okay, let's look at this real quick. If you just zip on over to something like Be an Explorer, how to sync Microsoft OneDrive with Linux, they've got step-by-step how you can sync and install OneDrive on Ubuntu, Fedora, Arch, settings, configuring it, selecting what kind of synchronization you want, and start OneDrive when logging in. And it goes through it step-by-step. All the terminal commands that you need, and how to set OneDrive up. Now, I looked at this as well, and it doesn't seem that Linux FX is the developer behind this, so I take heed with what they said in their comment about this as well. So let's zip back on over to the comment. Control panels, you can change those up. It's a KDE environment. I don't know what kind of development you have there. Settings is KDE settings. You just skinned it differently, themed it differently. And then the personal assistant. Let's zip on over and take a look at this. The Linux FX team is working on Hello Assistant. Now, I don't know how many of you all out there would actually use the voice assistant on Linux. I mean, most of us that left Windows didn't really use Cortana, but maybe you're different than me. Maybe you want that on your system. What really scares me about it is they're using Google technology to back it. I don't want Google tracking me anymore. That's one of the reasons I left Google behind. That's one of the reasons I'm on Linux. I don't want them to have that information. If you're paying $35 for the Hello Assistant, knock yourself out. And let's go ahead and cover this real quick. I had a lot of people comment that it doesn't say anywhere where you can't charge for your Linux operating system. You are exactly right. It doesn't say that. You can take donations, you can charge $20, you can charge $30, you can charge $35. Heck, you could charge $100 if somebody was going to pay it. I understand that. But that's not what I had a problem with. What I had a problem with was the wording to get that $35, okay? Let's zip on over to their website so I can show you what I'm talking about. They tell you right here, Microsoft Applications natively brings the Edge browser. Yes, it does. Teams and Skype, PowerShell, Office Online, Code, and more. You can run that on any Linux distribution. Then you come down here, Linux FX can run .exe and .msi programs natively with a double click as in Microsoft Windows. If you're a person coming from Windows and you read that, you automatically think, I can leave Windows, put this operating system on my PC and not miss a beat. And that is not true. If you do that and you don't read the next line and then you have problems, you're going to come back to the website and then you're going to see the compatibility mode expands this feature even further. Well, how do I get the compatibility mode? Oh, I pay $35 for it. What I needed to say and what I'd like to see is a little asterisk right here where it says you're going to have the same experience on Windows FX that you have on any other Linux distribution when it comes to running Windows programs. It is hit and miss at best. Put them a warning. And then do the same thing down here. Put an asterisk right here. Even though you pay this $35, we still do not guarantee that these Windows programs will run. That's the problem I have. So then I thought to myself, well, can I go all the way to the bottom of the screen and see if they have it down here? They don't. And if you guys recognize, the other day when I did my video, it said 1 million users worldwide, numbers still the same. 65,000 downloads this week, numbers still the same. Okay, those numbers don't change. It's not a running count or a total of what they're actually doing. So that's where I take heed. You guys out there, I never said you can't charge $35 for your Linux OS. If you can come up with something and you be truthful to the people that are going to actually use it, then I have no problem at all. Let's zip back on over to the comment real quick. With the end of Windows 7 and Windows 11 installation restrictions, Linux FX appears as an alternative to keep a device without Windows support working well, where people who are not used to Linux can use it without having to relearn computing. Did you know you can create a Windows 11 USB without the TPM block and still get Windows 11? Let me show you that real quick, guys. What you're going to want to do is zip on over and download Rufus. I'll include this link below, okay? You're going to download Rufus, then download your Windows 11 ISO. Once that's downloaded, this little window will pop up when you open Rufus. You'll go over here, you'll get boot selection, you'll click on that, go select your Windows 11 ISO. Now let me show you what you got to do in here to bypass the TPM and secure boot. Once you have your ISO selected, come down here to image option. If you click on this arrow, it'll give you standard Windows 11 installation, TPM plus secure boot, or you can go right below it, extended Windows 11 installation, no TPM, no secure boot. Select that. Zip down here, click Start, and you will create a USB drive that bypasses your TPM and secure boot, and you can have Windows 11 on a computer that it isn't approved by Microsoft for. It's that simple. Like I said, I will include the link to Rufus down below. Should you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. Now let's zip back on over to their comment. Here in Brazil, several dual-core devices with little memory are rescued by Linux FX. Companies also benefit greatly from Linux FX. In short, Linux FX is not made for Linux users, but Windows users who just want to use their computer without much work. And quite honestly, if you are selling this to companies and they are actually using it on a daily basis to replace Windows, why do we not have the companies listed on your website, along with maybe some of their input, like switching to Linux FX has been the greatest thing our company's ever done. We don't have to pay for Windows anymore, and it works perfectly. See what I'm talking about, guys? It sounds kind of fishy. I just showed everybody out there. If you want to use Windows 11 and continue using it, I showed you how to create a USB. You can do anything that Windows FX is doing other than the Helloa personal assistant on any Linux distribution that's out there. You got to watch and be careful with the wording, okay? That's all I'm saying. The way it's worded, to me, needs to be changed. Now, this covers them explaining why people aren't getting their serial keys for their professional edition. Linux FX billing system is PayPal or Stripe, and keys are sent automatically. Some users receive their keys in spam, so they end up not realizing they received it. Okay, here's what I want to cover real quick. Let's zip back on over to their website. Let's zip on down here. This is where it says free edition and professional edition. Should have a subheading or a footnote right here stating, if you do purchase the professional edition, comma, check your spam folder in your email for the key. How hard is that? I have a good friend of mine that warned me about Linux FX a long time ago. He has sent a ton of emails asking for it. He has submitted tickets. He has went to troubleshoot. He has begged these people to give him his serial key with no answer. If it's that simple and the serial key is in their spam folder, how hard is it for you to send my friend an email and say, look, we're sorry about everything, but have you checked your spam folder? They never did it. They have never contacted him. And that's just one. I've had other people in my comments say that they've had this issue with Linux FX. I don't come out here to make videos just to bash things. I generally love Linux. But my point is here that they need to go through here. They need to put some footnotes. They need to let people know. When you come through here, this just lets you know, hey, you can download this, have a Windows experience, and if you want a better Windows experience, give us $35 and it'll work perfect, which is untrue. False advertising, and I just don't understand how they're getting away with it. I'm not bashing these people. I'm not bashing the development. It took a lot of hard work to make that operating system look the way it does, and it took a lot of hard work to get it in front of people. What I'm asking right now is for you guys just to take a little bit of your time, go fix a few things on your website, and I would be happy, and I think that would make people feel much more comfortable and much happier. So let's go back over to the comment. Either way, they can block payment instantly on PayPal or Stripe until your problem is resolved. Well, not if you're waiting for a key. Sure, you can zip on over and block it, but they're wanting it. Why should they have to go through all that if all you'd have to do is put a footnote on your webpage going, oh, by the way, if you do get the professional key, check your spam folder. As opposed to them having to go to PayPal, having to block the payment, finding out why they're not getting their serial key. I mean, come on, guys, it's not rocket science. We believe that one of the advantages of Linux is exactly that there are more than 600 distributions and the user is not obliged to use our system. But if they want, they can normally live with the free version, as our only development is left out in the free version. The rest of the system is fully operational. Thanks in advance for your video. What is the advantage? No, they're not obliged to use your system. But what I'm asking, and what the Linux community is asking, is if you're going to create it, put some subheaders in it. Put some footnotes in it. Let people know what they're getting into. This is what I'm upset about. Well, not really upset. This is what perturbs me, okay? You've got a new guy. He's on Windows. He wants to take a jump into the Linux world. He zips around. Linux and Windows compatibility. Linux FX pops up. He reads it. He goes, oh my God, my dreams are solved. I can go to Linux, I can do my Windows stuff and not have to worry about anything. So he loads it up. He installs it on his PC. He gets to going and everything's going great. And then all of a sudden he downloads an exe file. Boom, nothing works. So he goes back to the website. So this will work better with the professional edition. Let me go ahead and get a security key. $35 later, he's waiting for it. It doesn't show up in his inbox, or maybe it does. So he gets it set up. He does what he needs to do. And then all of a sudden it's still not working. Okay. He fiddles with it. He searches the internet and he goes, forget this. I'm just going back to Windows. And that's his experience with Linux. Not a good one, was promised a Mercedes-Benz, and was delivered a Geo. Guys, I'm not here to bash people. I'm not here to be negative. I love Linux. I love the community. I love what Linux has done for me as a business owner and as a content creator. All I'm asking, Linux FX, if you watch this or if you even bother to comment again, is that you go to your website, you put some footnotes down there and let people know what they're getting into. That's all. If you guys disagree with anything I've said today, please drop it down in the comments below. Don't forget to zip on over, check out the store, see if there's something over there that you might like. And if there's something you would like to see on the store that's not there, drop that in the comments below. Do me a favor before you leave today. Please like, subscribe, or follow my channel. Doesn't cost anything, and if you end up not liking me, you can always unsubscribe. If you like the channel and enjoy the videos that we are producing, you can support us by becoming a member to the channel, buying us a cup of coffee, or better yet, becoming a patron to the channel over on Patreon. Those links will be in the description below. Thank you for watching the video, and I will see you in the next video.